Sorry for being a bit late. I was still logged into ATM Lens and I couldn't actually get into here. Hang on, I'm going to shake it again. Oh, I'm just going to sit up straight. Right. Yeah, so I did have to deal with a troll this week, and it was a bit like a stalker. I had a person stalking me back in 2011 or 12. I started my first YouTube channel in May 2011, and I had a person in a black van who was following me on YouTube. That person was following me on YouTube back in 2011, had a black van, and he would follow me to work. He used to sit outside my house, and when I was out gold prospecting, that person actually followed me around, and I had to get the police in on it. And the police said, okay, you've got a shotgun, keep it in your car, and if he follows you around, just get out, and if he sees it, he might leave. And it took a long time to get rid of him, but I filmed him, and I gave that to the police, and they got rid of him. But that's how you deal with stalkers. Now, this is a 4-day break for me on the weekend. I've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. And Sunday, I'm doing a pro model photography thing down in Olympic Park area. And I haven't done a model shoot for a while. And this is actually a professional model shoot that we're doing, helping out some sports women. And I'll be like a second photographer for that one. Monday's video, I'm going to talk about going from being a radio operator in the Air Force to being a train driver, comparing how you're the silent voice on a radio in both jobs, really. I mean, as a train driver, you're in a silent cab and you're putting up with the drunks behind you all the time, but it's pretty much a silent thing. We don't have any radios in there like an AM or FM or CD players in the cab. You're not allowed to have music on. And that's the same in the Air Force. You're sitting in a control room talking to airplanes, talking to the navigators. So I'll explain all that on Monday. The only other thing that we're going with this channel at the moment, I'm looking for some short things to do. And I'll just better turn this chat on. Welcome to live chat. All right. So, yeah, I'm looking for some shorts to make. And I think Monday I've got a doctor's appointment. I can't show you because I couldn't get that off. On that elbow, on May the 6th, I tore the skin back to the bone and it still hasn't come back. And I talked to the doctor on the phone today and he said, what did you do? And I said, well, I fell off my Vespa riding down Swan Street in a storm and I slipped on the tram tracks and I didn't break my neck. I just busted my elbow. And my doctor's an African doctor. And he said, aren't you supposed to come and see a doctor in Australia? And I said, Aussies don't go and see doctors. If an Aussie scrapes his knee or scrapes his elbow, he gets on with life. And I said, dude, it's still not fixed, okay? So he said, come and see me on Monday and we'll check it out. He's going to get some x-rays done. He thinks I might have busted something. But Monday, I want to go see the dinosaurs. If you're in Melbourne, there's dinosaurs at Melbourne Zoo. I think they're at Melbourne Zoo. But they're definitely at the Werribee Zoo. And I want to go out and try. And I like to go on Sundays to the zoo, but at school holidays it'll be a bit busy, but I might still have time late in the afternoon. Sunday, if you know Paul Kelly music, it's Father's Day, you know. Every other weekend is Father's Day, and I've been through a divorce and I've had child custody on weekends, and I used to take my children to the zoo, and they were only like 2 or 3 years old. They were only little kids, and I would take them to the zoo every fortnight. So if I go on a Sunday, I can quite often talk to other men who are in that problem. You know, when I'm sitting down having a coffee at the Wilderness Cafe with the elephants behind me, I can usually get in a conversation with somebody, and it helps people. And that's what this channel's about. It's what life's about. We're supposed to help each other. We're Australians. We help each other. I don't know if I can get chat to work on here because I have no idea what I'm doing. I think chat has turned on. Who knows? I think it's on. I've got no idea about live. I'll just wing it as I go. As you can see, that daughter follows the Bulldogs. I stopped watching that game tonight because they were getting their butts kicked by the Swans. And last I heard, Adelaide were doing the same to the West Coast Eagles. So football's out at the moment. I don't know who's staying up all night to watch the soccer at 4 a.m, but I'm going to watch the rugby tomorrow night. Australia's playing Ireland on Saturday night. And I played rugby from when I was 5 years old to when I was 35 years old, and it interests me more than soccer. Now, what else can we speak about? If you've got suggestions for the channel, use the community tabs on, and YouTube have got community tabs. They used to call it posts, and now they're called community tab. I put a regular post in there. Just tell me in there if there's stuff you want me to go and talk about, or things that you know are on in Melbourne that'll be a good place for me to go and have a chat on. I run 3 YouTube channels, so I'm busy. I give each channel 4 hours a week, and this channel is the newest channel and the busiest channel by far. And I'm still averaging 100 comments a day on this channel compared to my other channels where I average about 20 a week. So this channel's got a lot of interaction. And if you can't see that picture behind me, I'll show you that while I'm here. That's by an artist in 1975. It's dystopian, to say the least. My late mother-in-law brought it for me because she knew I was into writing about dystopia, and I've got a few books published on dystopia. So she got me that picture, and it's really cryptic. I mean, get that olive tree out of the way. It's bizarre, to say the least. And the artist's name's down the bottom corner. It's from Switzerland originally. It's just a print. And that wall behind me I made. When you live in a rental house, you're not allowed to hang things on the wall. So I make walls. The house that I built in 2006 was an owner-builder, is back on the market at the moment. But I learned how to make walls. So I just make wood walls. You can probably just see the chipboard sticker that's coming through the wallpaper. Anyway, people, I think that'll do for now. Just want to keep practicing on my live talks, and if people want to talk to me, as I say, chat to me. And I'll talk to you on Monday. Hey, we've got someone from New York. There is somebody here, all right. Someone's going to talk. This is good. Thomas from New York. That's why I put it on at 10 o'clock at night, because I know Julian in Chicago is online somewhere around 10 or 11 o'clock Melbourne time. Got to remember where I'm living at the moment. What time is it in New York, Mr. Thomas? If I can get that to come back up. So I think 8:12 a.m. So you're not that far off time zone to Chicago. I've got 26% of the people on here are Americans that I've been following on a vlogging community. So the rest is Australian or New Zealand. All right, I'm going to call this quits. I will talk to everybody on Monday. As I say, it'll be a very long video on Monday. It's going to be about stories. Chicago's an hour behind. With Melbourne, we're 2 hours difference to Perth being on the west coast, we're on the east coast, and we have Adelaide about half an hour behind us, but there's not much else. We might be the size of the United States, but there's not much in the middle here. Nothing in the middle. But that's why I do these night ones, because I've got American followers. Anyway, as I said, I will talk Monday. A video completely about stories and comparing Air Force to train driver life. 30 years from August 1996 to now. Oh, we're getting more people out here. Okay, so I'm not talking to myself. And where are you from? Silk, I think I was down here. Hang on, I lost my chat button. Somewhere here. Hi, where are you from? Silk FV, biggest fan. Oh, Camfrog chat. Never heard of it. And you're in Australia. That's good. Tasmania to Victoria was good. The issue I had with Tassie is it's small. And I spent half my life living in West Australia, which is, I don't know if it's the biggest state in the world, but it's really big. And I'm used to taking forever to drive anywhere in WA. Whereas in Tasmania, if I went for a drive, I could do the whole island in a very long day, but I can drive to Hobart in 5 hours. Whereas I can't drive from my house in Perth to the border in 5 hours. I think it'll be 10 hours or more. So yeah, Tassie's nice. It's beautiful, and I've got good friends down there, and I love the food down there. I mean, I put on 30 kilos living in Tassie because of the food, Scallop pies. I can't buy scallop pies in Melbourne, but I probably could if I went to the market. But yeah, if you ever get any chance to go to Tasmania. No, not in Perth. I'm in Melbourne, which I can't prove to you because there's nothing around here. Go look at my shorts video. I was in ACDC Lane 3 nights ago. I left Perth in 2012 to move to Tasmania. And I stayed in Tassie to 2017. And then I moved to Melbourne in June of 2017. And I'm going to die in Melbourne. I'm just going to stay here. I've been a nomad my whole life. And I decided I was just going to plant myself here and stay put for 20 years, Yeah, I go to Cascade Brewery, and what I do is I catch the bus up to Cascade Brewery, and then I follow the Rivulet, whatever they call that, Hobart Rivulet, bad one to say, and I followed that Rivulet down to the waterfront. And Cascade Brewery is great. It's a long walk, but it's a nice walk when you're going downhill. John in Perth. Which one is John in Perth? Someone just asked me about John. Which I can keep sitting up so I can read it. Where's the button over here? Okay, I don't know what that's on. The only John I know in Perth moved to Tasmania, I thought. Johnny Ray was in Perth. But, oh God, what did I just turn the background on? No, go way back. There we go. Come back. The only John I could think of in Perth was Johnny Ray. And he, I thought, retired in Tasmania, but I could be wrong. No, I don't know who you're talking about. Did he drive trains? Yeah, Johnny Ray used to drive trains, and he used to drive them on the Perth Metro. No, I wouldn't know. There's only 2 million people over there. I can guarantee you I wouldn't know. But that's where I started driving metro trains in Perth, like PTA over there. And I got, what was the worst thing I had? I had my train hijacked. Only time I've ever had a person hijack a train on me. I pulled into Perth Station, Wellington Street, and was supposed to change ends on the train and drive the train back to Claysbrook. And when I got back to Claysbrook, that's where I parked the train. It goes through a wash, emus they call those trains. Anyway, I pulled into Perth on this day, and you're supposed to open up the door, and a guy will walk along the outside of the train and tell you that it's empty, and then you close your doors, right? And do the same thing here in Melbourne. I opened up the door, a guy hit me in the back of the head with a briefcase, jumped in the train and said, "I'm taking your train, I'm going to drive it home," and shut the door on me. So we had to get the police to get him out. He was an irate nut job who was just, he didn't want to get out of the train. I didn't get hurt or anything, but it just shocked me how easy it is to get hold of a train. But I've lost trains. I've had so many stories with trains, it's ridiculous. I do have videos on my now defunct old channel, and that defunct old channel, I will put it up on there eventually for you. That channel has railway videos of me driving down the west coast of Tasmania, and the camera was stuck out on the nose of the train, so it captures the whole nearly 200 kilometres of the wilderness. But I will put that, I can't put the link on here, I don't think, but I'll put the link up on a video on Monday. And I've got great stories about Melbourne. You know, the day that Richmond won the grand final, I went to my third fatality, and a guy who got hit by a train actually looked like Santa Claus. So, well, most people remember it as Richmond's first grand final in years. I remember it as the day Santa Claus died. You know, there's little things like that with trains. That I was at Bayswater Station, not Bayswater, Melbourne, but Bayswater in Perth, which is at Swan District's football level. And a guy wanted to get his drunk mate back to town. So the easiest way to get him back to town would be to drop him in front of my train. We stopped. We didn't hit him. You would think you'd just get on the train, but no. To make sure I stopped an express train, he threw the person out onto the train tracks. And my train was running empty back to Claysbrook. So we stopped the train, and in those days we used to carry the police from Midland Police into Perth. So I had 9 police officers on my train. They had to get out and go and talk to this guy and ask him what he was doing. And he said, "Oh, we've missed the last train. We need to get back to the city." And they said, "Well, you can't throw a person in front of a train to get on a train." You know, drunk young men doing stupid things. That was... Perth had some great stories and some bad stories. I'll go through a few of them on Monday, but I had a murder on my train, which I'll talk a bit, I think, on Monday. But what they cancelled the network. It's in Melbourne, when we cancel a train network, we get bus replaces trains or replacement buses. In Perth, they drive the trains in little sections and they get buses elsewhere. So we were running from Stirling to Leederville Station, or West Leederville, I think it was, and we're just shunting backwards and forwards for passengers. And a passenger got off at Stirling. The lady talked to me and wandered off. And this was all caught on CTV. The man that was behind her talked to me and then wandered off. I paid no attention to it. I don't know what I said to them, but the police interviewed me 24 hours later and asked me what I had said to these 2 people. And I don't know. I had done this for 8 hours, doing like 15-kilometre drives for 8 hours, you know, going up and down the same track. So every time I got out the train, somebody would ask me, usually, how do we get further along the train track? I said, nobody asked me anything in distress. I just didn't recall the conversation. But that man following her murdered her outside the train station. And that's what the police said to me. "Oh, you're the last person to speak to her before she was killed." And I'm like, well, I don't remember the conversation other than what I saw. Redfern Station. I've been to Redfern Station. Oh, yeah, I've been to Redfern. I was in the Air Force in 99, and I was living from 99 right through to the Olympics at Glenbrook on the Blue Mountains. And I was really curious to go and see what Redfern looked like. And, you know, I'm white. And I had heard some bad stories about it, but I'm inquisitive, you know. So I took the train down to the city and I went out to Redfern. I haven't been back, but let's just say 1999, it was South LA or the Bronx quite easily. It was really terrible. And now I go to Sydney every 2 months. I fly up for a day and I have coffee and beers with some military friends up there. And we're not going to Redfern. We won't go down there. Oh, yes. I got memories of Redfern. Probably Midland in Perth is a bit like Redfern. But nowhere in Australia is anywhere as bad as Redfern. Frankston is probably the worst station in Melbourne. Maybe. Although Upfield's a bit strange. If you know Upfield, got a suburb called Dallas next to it. And Dallas is really rough and it looks like it's very violent. So maybe Upfield's more dangerous than Frankston, but Frankston we get some characters. We get seagulls get on the train at Frankston and they ride on the train for a few stations and then they get off. But I don't drive my trains down there anymore. I got out of that one. I drive in the mountains now. Let me get me any coffee. All right, any more questions down here? You're sparking me into conversation. I will actually watch a YouTube video one day and figure out how to use chat. There is. Hey, there we go. I turned on chat. I can see everybody. All right. Come back. So David would catch a train at Redfern. Yes, I got to that. All right, I don't know what else to say to you. Unless you've got any more questions. Oh, unless you're a Sydney Swan supporter. I'm still hoping the Dockers will do something this year because... Oh, your school had a murder. My school had a truck driver kill a woman purely by mistake. Our school, I'm in a high school, it's built on a hill and goes like that, but they cut into it in 1950 to put the classrooms on it. So when I put the ACDC thing on the shorts the other day, our song was "It's a Long Way to the Top if you want a sausage roll," because at the top of this hill was a roadhouse. And you'd go from 110 kilometres an hour. When you got to the outside of the school, you'd do 80. There was no such thing as 40 kilometre an hour school zones in those days. And a woman had pulled up to pick up her daughter, and you weren't meant to stop. She stopped, she took her seatbelt off to open up the door, and a road train came through and totally destroyed the car. She didn't stand a chance. And we were all up there waiting to cross the road. No lollipop ladies, but yeah, that was, oh God knows, 1986 or 87. That was a long time ago, that. As for murders, never murders, we had the school blow up. The Armadale Brickworks exploded while we were at school, and we got evacuated because somebody was smoking while loading a diesel into a diesel tank, and you know what happens when you smoke in a fuel farm, it causes a fire. And the 1980s seemed to be a lot less work safe than now. When I started on the job, we would wear a vest in the rail yard if we were crossing track to get on a train, but we didn't wear a vest anywhere else. By about 2008, 4 years after I started, we were in high-vis clothes from top to bottom in case we couldn't be seen in a vest. Now we're back to wearing safety vests. But Australia's WorkSafe is so much better now than it was. Even when I started work in 1989, it's changed a lot. The first place I went to when I started working I was delivering stationery. I had this Econovan thing, Ford Econovan. And we went to one of, might have been Peter Jackson. It was in Canning Vale, and we had to drop off stationery to them. And the office had people in there smoking with ashtrays. And I just started working, but all the offices I'd been to, smoking wasn't allowed in. But this was a cigarette distributor. So they still smoked in their office. I don't think they'd be smoking now. This was 91, I think, 1990, 91. And then I was at Tasmania. We were entitled to 10 minutes an hour in our pay if we were smokers. Because we couldn't smoke in the train, we were allowed to have a 10-minute break each hour to go and have a smoke. I don't smoke. It's not good for you. We'll put this chat back up here. Right. Soldier training. Uh-huh. Who else is on here? Oh, we got fireworks on there. Okay. Oh, you can send any gift. It doesn't worry. I don't even know how gifts work on this thing. This channel is almost monetized, and this channel is only... Oh, it's tier 1 monetized now. It took 3 weeks to get tier 1 monetized. I've been eating fruit nut chocolate, so it's... Oh, okay. I'm eligible for gifts, I know that much, but I haven't got 1,000 subscribers, so I'm still working my way to getting to full monetization. 15 years I started on YouTube, and that channel went for 15 years and got 4,000 subs, but could never get monetized. This channel goes to 6 weeks, and I'm doing the same on this channel as I did on that channel. And just how YouTube's changed in 2026, just how the algorithms changed, I don't know. I haven't changed. I've just got less hair up here, and I can still talk as much as I always talk. I love to talk. And one person on here told me the other week that I could talk the ears off an elephant in a pub, which I've been to the Wheelbarrow pub in Perth, but yeah. I was going to bring it in tonight, but I didn't. And I don't think it's over there. I've got books that are that thick, like seriously that thick. And they've got my life story from 1986 through to now. There's 3 of those books. So I have no shortage of stories to tell on YouTube. Yeah, I'll get monetized eventually, don't worry. I tried a thing called Maker's Workshop. If you ever heard of that, I don't know. If you've ever heard of a man called Digger Dan, or Detective Dan, I think he was now called, he quit his YouTube channel after he got monetized. He got a squillion followers and then fell out of love with his niche. His niche was basically metal detecting, prospecting, and then decided that he didn't want to do that anymore. He wanted to be a travel vlogger. So he closed his YouTube channel off. But he was based in Germany, and he had this thing called, there was a company in Germany called Maker's Workshop, and they would sponsor prospecting channels, but they would expect you to make a video every day. And this was back in 2012. And they wanted you to make a video every day. Hey, I'll go to Bendigo. Yeah. Bendigo is one of my hometowns. Not right now, I don't go there because I haven't got a car and my Vespa's not exactly built for country riding. Hello. But Bendigo's good. If you go an hour, what's that direction? West of Bendigo, St Arnaud's or St Arnaud, as they like to call it, is where my family is buried, and there's cheap land out there, but I'm also looking at Horsham for cheap land at the moment. And I still want to build a church, but there's a problem with building in churches. You've got to go and talk to the council and get permission to dwell in them. If you don't have dwelling permission on a church, you're going to pay money for it. Do you know Quarry Hill Primary School? No, I do not know Quarry Hill School. What do I know about Bendigo? There's more Banjo Patterson, I guess. But I used to have a mate who, Brad, I can't remember his last name. I should remember it, but I blocked it out. He stole in excess of about $20,000 from me, and he lived in Bendigo, Kangaroo Flat. And he didn't just steal money from me, he stole it from people in Bendigo. This is back in 2015, 16. And he absconded to somewhere on the Mornington Peninsula, last I heard. He took the money and he fled. I don't know, I've given money to too many people over the years and got scammed. But that happens. All right, who else is chatting down here? Hey, it's still working here. Do you like Hand Tools amateur radio? I like amateur radio, but I haven't used it for a while, and I do Hand Tools. I've lost that chat again. Yeah. Where'd you go? Who said that? Vic's review. When I built my house, I had a mixture of hand tools and normal tools, but this wall behind me is hammer and nail made with pine and MDF board, I think, on the outside there. If I could read that sticker, I'd tell you. And the one I've got in my lounge room is 3 metre long wall, and it's 2.1 metres high. It's wallpapered on the top in green wallpaper, or normal in this wallpaper and painted green, and then the bottom is dado boards. And we use it for Christmas, Halloween, birthdays. Wife buys paintings, you can put pictures up on the wall. Never let it be said, if you rent a house, you can't actually make walls. You just can't fix them to the wall. These walls have got felt on the back of them, so when they lean, they've got a slight lean on them against the wall, so they don't scratch the wall. We had our property manager change. People were just joining me. There's the wall up there. You can see the top of it. It fits across the corner. And it goes all the way down there. It's quite tall, this one. This one goes to the roof. The property manager's changed on this rental. And the property manager for was a current problem, and she walked through the front door, and I had that big 3-meter wall at the front door for a long time. And you shout out, my name is Lockie, but the ch is pronounced K. Yeah, Lockie, not Wacky. And yeah, I had that wall at the front door. And she came in and she said, "Did you get permission from the owner to install a wall?" And I said, "It's not freestanding. It's not fixed. It's freestanding." And I had to pull the wall off the wall and show her the back of it. And she goes, "I've never known anyone to build a wall in a rental." And I said, "I've never known a landlord that will let me put a picture up. So what do you want me to do?" But yeah, we got a couple of these walls around the house just so we can put pictures. You do what you do and you don't damage your property. Can't argue with that. Who else said something? Yeah, can you show? I got your name. Kangaroo Flat Station. Had a few people on here the other day who were from Bendigo. Do you like the Beatles? Yeah, sort of. Sort of. We did in high school, but I like country music and Cold Chisel. I know there's not much variation there. Australian artists and Paul Kelly, but the Beatles, when I was 16, I liked the Beatles, but AC/DC is really cool, but the problem with YouTube is you got copyright strikes, you can't. Like with that short, I put that short up using YouTube Create, and and it offers to put music in. I said, "Well, have you got AC/DC music?" So I found something that I thought was AC/DC, but it didn't have the song. I have a subscription to Epidemic Sound, but yeah, I'm trying to keep this channel completely AI free, completely music free. Try not to put on the shorts. I can do a little bit of creativity, but on the actual long form videos, I just want to have it so it's me. I'm in this room. That's my light box there. That's some of the bookcases you've seen before. You might have seen the record player over yonder. And if we turn all the way around, that's my other desk I work on. So, spare bedroom, and I can film in 4 different places in here. And right now I'm sitting on a lounge chair. I don't know how the audio works too well on this iPad. It's on an iPad. But if it suddenly dies, you know what happened. 89%, plenty of power. Yeah. You made me lose my thought there. Don't know how many more of my Americans have shown up here yet, but I had to get a phone because it won't charge to turn on. Oh, I don't. You want a story about a phone? I went to Sydney for Anzac Day, and I had a Google Pixel phone. You all know how expensive Google Pixel phones are. Mine was 3 years old by this stage, and this is it, Anzac Day this year. And I'm sitting at the airport, and this couple wanted to sit down. I had my bag next to me. I'd been in Sydney for 16 hours or something, and I was buggered. And I didn't realise my phone was on top of the bag. I pick up my bag, put it on the ground. I knocked my phone. It hit the tiny metal corner of the chair and shattered the entire front of the screen. Needless to say, I paid the phone off, but I was unable to use the phone. And I had to get an Uber to get home from Avalon Airport. So it was not nice. I went out and brought a Motorola, so I'm now using a Motorola G75, I think it is. I hate Apples. I've got to use Apple at work, and this iPad's about as Apple as I get. I edit all my videos on an iMac. We call it the mothership, but I use Premiere Pro to put my videos together, only because the camera that I use to film with normally, which sits over there, cuts the videos up into 4-minute segments. So I just need an editor to put the videos together. I don't do any color grading. I can't see the point of color grading. But I got told the other day I look anemic because when you put this light only has 3 colors, but if you put it on my face and you turn the light down, I go pale. I'm half Irish, half Dutch. I am white. Can't change it. Yeah. Oh, you'll be right back. All right, you go to the toilet. I don't know if I'll be here when you get back though. Who else is on here at the moment? Fix Review disappeared. Zoe, hello. What do we got over in here? 5 people on here. All right, if you're on here, well, someone's half Dutch as well. Yeah, I've got the good half of the Dutch. I've got the used to be blonde hair, blue eyes, and I'm 6 foot tall. All right. My dad's Dutch. They came here in 1950. My mum is a mixed bag of everything from Chinese to God knows what else. English, Scottish, and Welsh mainly. And they came here in 1805. So my mum's side have been here since day dot. My dad's side's been here 76 years. All right, who else is here? Everybody. I've got a lot of people up the top here. I'm trying to keep this chat up. Yeah, chat's gone to sleep. All right. Now, unless anybody's got anything else to say, I am going to call it a night because this has gone for 36 minutes and that's rather long for me. All right, I can see you again. There we go. Got chat back. So which half Dutch are you? Are you dad's side, mum's side? Because there was a story today on the Dutch page about Dutch women. What did the police say when you informed them about? Oh, yeah, I went into Spencer Street Station to see the police because I took the audio of it, I recorded it. I have a Philips DVT voice recorder, so if I get phone calls, I can hold it up against the phone. I like to talk to myself, so I've got a voice recorder, and I had the voice recorder, so I took the voice sample into the police, and they logged the fault, they logged the name. They said he is a known political antagonist in Melbourne, and that he's got your phone number, and they showed me where it goes from. My phone number's on Facebook, so they got it off Melbourne Pics on Facebook, and all they'll do is they'll log it, and if he keeps calling you, they'll do something. Have you ever known Victoria Police to do anything? You know, I had on my other channel, I had a similar problem last year with a person who went to the point of actually coming around the house and leaving hate mail at the house. I took that into Spencer Street. Once again, I got the same kind of deal. Or if you're a Carlton football coach and somebody does it to you, which happened this year, the police do something. If you're Jack living in the suburbs, they don't care. They're too busy doing God knows what. And I don't know what to do about it. I talked to ChatGPT and they said the best thing you can do is not talk to and not acknowledge and not mention anybody who trolls you. Just ignore them and they'll go away. It's disappointing, I know, but what can you do with these? When I was in Merredin, Western Australia, it was a country town. If we had a problem, like when I had the stalker, I went and saw the police. There's 5 cops in the town. They do something because everybody knows everybody. Their kids go to school with your kids. But here, the cops don't know me from a bar of soap. Their kids don't know each other. There's something about living in smaller country towns that works better for dealing with cops. But I don't know. I don't have a criminal record. I wouldn't be a train driver if I had a criminal record. So I don't know what to do with this. All I know is it's been nearly a week and they haven't called me back. So what has it been? 5 days since they called me. Monday, Friday. That's 4 days since they called. And I took the video down, so I'll make sure I don't talk about the South Australian election anymore, I guess. I have not been to Colorado, but I have driven to Colorado. No, I don't leave Australia very often. I've been to Indonesia. I went to the Komodo Island to look at the dragons, which is really cool. And I made a video of it, which was really terrible for a place that I was only ever going to once in my lifetime. But that was 2009. I made a short video of it. And I went to Lombok and I went to Bali and I hated it. It was too hot. Yeah, I like talking about super. No, I haven't been to Fiji. I've been to New Zealand and Indonesia. And when I got orphaned, I moved back to Holland and stayed with my family in Zaandam, 16 k's north of Amsterdam. But yes, super. I do like to talk about super for two reasons. One, I know nothing about it and it's seriously impacting my life. I only found out the other day my last two paychecks have been paid at 45%. So, I'm paying 45 cents in the dollar on my paychecks at the moment because I'm in the same pay bracket as James Packer now, which is ridiculous, I'm sitting here with a fake wall and he's sitting on a yacht in Sydney. Yeah, I'm researching everything with super as much as I can. And I sat down with someone from, I can't remember what they're called now. We were a different mob. It was Vic Super or somebody before they got brought out by Aware Super. Aware Super brought out Telstra Super the other day. And what they told me to do was transfer the money over from Australia Super to what is now Aware Super. And I got a $20,000 exit fee from Australian Super going across. And when you had $100,000 in super getting transferred and then only 80 of it turns up, it really, that's money that I need in retirement. So I had 7 super accounts that I've merged back to 2 super accounts now, and I can't get the Defence Force Super to come across to Aware Super yet. But at 55, my Defence Force Super will go across. Defence Super pays 4 to 5% a year. Aware Super pays 9%. Yeah, I was thinking of swapping out of Aware, but I'm too nervous about exit fees, and Aware's paying me good interest, so I've got 6 years. 6 years, 10 months. MSB, I was with MSBS, and MSBS closed down, they said, and became part of CSC, Commonwealth Superannuation, whatever the C is. And see, that ComSuper will let me transfer money out of it now at age 53 to my other super, but I've got to fill in, if you know what the Commonwealth government's like, I've got to fill in a lot of paperwork, put it off and prove my identity, and then they'll transfer it over. But at age 55, MSBS will pay me a pension, but they won't pay me my super. And they told me I will get $9,000 a year at age 55 as a pension for the rest of my life, or I can leave the super there, and at age 67 there'll be 250,000 is their estimate at 4%, or at age 60 there'll be $180,000 sitting in there. But I've told them to keep it anyway. I can get to it at 60, but it is good that the Commonwealth Super is really safe, because I've had superannuation companies go broke on me in the past, and your money is protected. I think that was something that I can't remember his name. John Howard's treasurer, Peter Costello. He put in protection for super, so when your super companies go broke, you can get money. You're getting drunk to live streams. I don't even know how to do live streams. This is my 4th one I've ever tried. It's the 2nd one on here. And I tried one last week in the middle of the day, and it was pretty boring because I didn't have anybody to talk to. And we've got people to talk to here, so. But what I struggle with is I can't see the chat. And I'm in a cold room. Oh, there we go. The final football came up. Adelaide beat West Coast by 25 points. I'm ranking 4th in the football tips at the moment, which I don't know how I did that. And I lost the chat, so keep talking. I'll see you eventually. Yeah. Where'd you all go? Oh, you're down here somewhere. Oh, there. All right. Am I the only subscriber? We'll get texted. I know I will. Yeah, with MSBS, this is a Commonwealth superannuation problem. Oh, you got divorced too. That doesn't help. I got divorced before the divorce rule came in. But yeah, MSBS don't tax you until you take the money off them, and then it's 18% or something. I'm not sure. I think it's 18%. Whereas Aware Super tax when the money goes in. So I salary contribute, and they take the tax from me, and they take the tax from the employer each month. So I think I lost $6,000 in fees last year to Aware. I haven't had a look at it as of the 1st of July, but I've lost about $6,000. But yeah, as soon as I take CSC out, they're taking a chunk. So I think after tax I was about 180, but I've got a letter out here. I could have brought it in. I told CSC to take me from being on the secure level of investment and put it on the high risk level of investment, just to try and get some more money in it, because it feels like it's just disappearing. Can you say happy birthday in 10 seconds? Okay, who's turning happy birthday here? Somebody's birthday in 10 seconds. Okay, all right. Don't worry about me. I'm watching the clock here. Oh, come back, chat. Here we go. It's Kim's birthday. Okay, yeah. So when did you get divorced, Mr. Broken Bald? I'm broken half bald. I got divorced in 96, 97. Around about, 97 we split up. We're divorced by 98. And she can't get to my super, which is good, because there was no super for her to get to. Now there is. Hello, Lily. You'll get 450k at 67. Is she getting half your super? Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the fair thing is for super, but my ex-wife worked and I worked, and she got her own super and I got my own super, and at the time she had more super than me. So if we had to split it back in 1997, it would have been more in my favour, I think. But if we split super now, I've got 600,000 in super at the moment, and my wife's gone over 100. It would be catastrophic to my retirement. My financial settlement was a lot different. My wife got the dog, the car, what was left of the house, and all the money in the bank. And I did that on the proviso that I had a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old child, and I wanted them to be looked after. So I put them ahead of any ambition for me. Oh, here we go. Someone's getting 3, 2, 1. Okay, happy birthday, Kim. Okay, yeah, all right, I think that was 10 seconds. And go back up. So, Broken Ball, did you get remarried? Or you happily enjoying the life and freedom? Where'd you go? You'll be down here somewhere. I escaped the crap, moved to Vietnam. I don't know if you know Ken, Jeremy basically is the way you would spell it. He's in Thailand at the moment. He's not with suitcases. He was, I don't know, a sea tech, I think. He was a fitter in the Air Force. The last time I saw him was on my honeymoon, and he was with his first wife in Canberra. He split up with her, and he's living in Thailand. He's retired, took his money, and he's onto his second girlfriend in Taiwan now since he moved there. But he did the same. I could wish you half a dozen people I've worked with that have buggered off to Taiwan or Singapore or Bali, Vietnam. I can't stand the heat of Brisbane. I've been to Butterworth. I couldn't stand it up there. It's too... Tasmania, snow, nice. It's my Irish Dutch blood. I haven't been to Vietnam, but I would like to go there. My dad served in that. My uncle served in that. Sent him nuts. Don't know what happened to him. You're a fitter. Yeah. I was Syscon, they called it, Communications and Information Systems Controller. I did 6 months on a PC help desk and 6 months on a radio desk. Radio desk, we would work 4 days on, 4 days off, and 12-hour shifts, 2 12-hour nights, 2 12-hour days. And all I did was talk to the navigators on the plane. When I did the help desk, I would talk to anybody who had a broken computer in the base. Generally speaking, it was the officers. The Bureau of Meteorology was at RAF Base Pearce, so we would deal with the Met Office. I developed a massive love for meteorology just by fixing their computers. I mean, the Air Force was good, military was good, but I had to make a tough choice. I just remarried, and we had a baby, and the baby was 6 weeks old, and they told me that they're going to take me, my wife, and move us all to Malaysia. And we'd only been married 9 months or something. We hadn't been married a year. And it was going to be too much stress on my second marriage to pack up and move overseas, especially with her first child and an infant. So I put in for a discharge and put the family first. And in some senses, I've regretted it my whole life, not finishing up in the military. But boy, I've had some adventure in driving trains. At least trains got me to see the rest of the country. You can't get posted to Tasmania in the Air Force. You can't get posted to Melbourne in the Air Force. What else? Who else is talking here? Come back, chat. I was a doggy for 4 years and an ATEC. I know ATECs. Who I got? Still in the Air Force. Adam Burr. He's now sergeant or flight sergeant. Mark Erickson. They both CTECs, I think. And he'd be a sergeant. I tried. I don't know who else here was in the military. I tried when you graduate from rookies, you get a course top. I tried it on the other day because I've lost, a third of my body weight. And I now can fit back into my rookies gear that I haven't worn since 1996. So my rookies anniversary will be August 6th. So I might actually do a video wearing my 1996 course graduation top. But I haven't been able to put that on in 25 years. So I was quite happy that I got it to it. Yeah, 1 RTU. 1 RTU, 16 Alpha I was in 1996 with Corporal Sal Cole, who is on the RAF page on Facebook. Can you put what on there now? What's going on down there? Somebody's talking. Yeah, I can't put the jacket on now because it's on the other side of the house and it's hanging up. But I will put the jacket on in 3 weeks' time. And I'll have to do a pure rep because it's got the whole course names on the back of it. But yeah, message yourself, don't eat chocolate before you come into a video. Who else is chatting? For an old iPad, this thing's holding on okay. There goes my hand. Okay. Pull up bank statements and prove you ain't squandering money. Yeah, I know. I've pulled up bank statements, proof you ain't squandering money. I ain't squandering money. I haven't got any bank statements. I paid off a loan this week, which was I had a short-term loan with the cash converters. I actually paid it off. So one less loan each fortnight. I pay $1,000 a pay in personal loans. And with the new rule that Jacinta Allen's brought in, if you can understand it, you're doing good. You know, you can transfer your bond from one rental to the next. Yeah. Have you ever been in a cockpit? Yes, but not for very long. I've been in the back. C-130 Herc with US Rangers on board. That was a surreal experience. I had a friend, Wing Commander Rowe, who I was his personal secretary, you might say. I was his understudy in my last 12 months in the Air Force. I got a job as a clerk for my last 12 months, and I worked as his personal receptionist. And he got me up in a Hercules, and we dropped some Rangers off over Bindoon, and nothing more exciting than watching the back of an aircraft just go, and all these men just walk straight off the back, and you go, perfectly good plane, I'm staying here, I'm never going to do parachuting. But yeah, I've been up in planes a few times. Hawks, they're the last thing I've seen. My daughter started childcare on a RAF base at the end of a runway, and I'm sure that's why she doesn't want to join the military. All right, who's Alex? Lost you again. H model? I don't know which model. It's a C-130 something or other. But when you I was working at 79 Squadron at the time. And Wing Commander Rowe was a reservist for 25 Squadron, but they'd commandeered him to work in 79 Squadron because they didn't have an officer spare to run the flight training school. And so Wing Commander Rowe right now would be well over 90 if he was still alive. I would say he's gone. Squadron Leader Wombeck is a good one. He was our doctor at Pierce, and he was a Spitfire pilot back in World War II. Now, how old he was in 1998 is anybody's guess, but we used to call him Dr. 1 Week because if you came in and said you were sick, you got 1 week off work. He got mentioned in the Sunday Times when he passed away. All right, who got murdered at school? Alex. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Wombeck. He was a British fighter pilot. Well, these stories I've got to try and put down. I've got to sit down and... Schumacher, did you know him? No. No. Dr. Schumacher. No. I had Dr. Wombeck, who was a squadron leader, but Ron was his first name. What can I call you? Jack. Easy enough. Lots of chatting here. Oh, chat, come back. There we go. Who else is up here? John Smith, I'll talk to you. Yeah, plenty of people up there. What's the numbers? Kristen was on here. Hello, Kristen. Oh, we're just about hidden now here. Oh my God. If we keep talking, we'll get to the soccer because the soccer's on in 4 a.m. and I'm not watching soccer. I'm going to watch the rugby tomorrow night because that's what real Ben play, rugby. After I watch the Dockers get God knows what happened. I ran here for 5 years and I hated it. On the exit, I found the previous tenant had flipped all the kitchen cupboard shelves. Yeah, that's happened to me. We were in Meriden once again, and we were in a fibro house, typical wheat belt house. And when we moved, they said the cupboards were dirty, and we said, no, we cleaned them. No, we checked under them there. The previous tenant had flipped the shelves in the cupboards. And we got pinged for that, and we got pinged for a piece of dirt that's no more than a 1 cent piece, like a 1 cent coin size piece of dirt behind the laundry door. And they refused to give us back our bond. And the person who did it just was in court in the last few months because they had violated Aboriginal land and damaged property in 2J. So I kind of thought karma had got back to them in the end because of the dodgiest real estate agents out. And, 10 years later, they were getting busted by the cops for still being dodgy and corrupt. I've had great landlords, but I've had some real dodgy ones. And I've had 2 houses I've rented in Melbourne, one through Burwood and one through Collins Street. Roy Weston were the real estate agents. And the owners are a Chinese property firm in some place north of Beijing. So they were our best landlords. If we wanted something fixed, money turned up, they fixed it. They sent out a small team and repair it. But whenever I paid rent, the rent went straight overseas. So it wasn't keeping the money in the Australian economy, which I can't buy land in China. I can't buy a house in China. Why can they buy a house here? I miss 1440. What's 1440? Come back. I ain't going to the pub at 4 a.m. No, I'm not going to the pub at 4 a.m. I was surprised I wasn't asked to work tonight. We got trains tonight every hour until 4 o'clock, and then there's no trains until 5 o'clock. There's a bit of a gap between the 4 and the 5 o'clock train. And then they don't get back to normal service until around 6:37 a.m. on Saturday. But we didn't put on extra trains for... The government didn't request it. If the government had requested it, there would have been extra trains. But no, who else is here? All right. I better go because we will rock you. Oh, yeah. I remember that. All right, people. I'm going. As soon as I figure out how to turn this thing off. Thank you, everybody who watched. It's been 62 minutes, and I will do another one next week. I can't say the day yet because I haven't seen the roster. But probably Saturday night, I think, or Friday night. But I'll do another live next week. All right. Ciao.